Have you ever felt like your own home was hiding something from you? A secret buried deep within its walls. I just moved into what I thought was my dream house, a charming, century-old Victorian with character oozing from every floorboard. The real estate agent told me it was a steal, and for the first few weeks it was perfect. The sun would stream through the stained glass windows, and the old wood floors creaked like they were whispering stories of the past. But soon those whispers started to sound less like stories and more like warnings. It began subtly, a cold spot in the hallway that never seemed to warm up, the faint, unexplainable scent of damp earth. In the middle of the night, even though the house was bone dry, I'd hear what sounded like footsteps on the floor below me, but that was impossible. The agent was clear. The house was built on a solid slab foundation. There was no basement. I even checked the blueprints myself. A single, solid line at the bottom. No cellar, no crawl space, nothing. I tried to ignore it, blaming the quirks on the house's age. Old houses settle, right? They make strange noises. But the feeling of being watched grew stronger, a constant prickling sensation on the back of my neck. Then came the scratching sounds. They started in the living room, right over the big area rug. It was a faint, rhythmic scraping, like fingernails dragging across stone. I'd pull back the rug, revealing the original hardwood floors, and find nothing. The moment I put the rug back, the scratching would return, always from the same spot. One night, the sound was so persistent I couldn't sleep. Driven by a mix of frustration and a creeping dread, I decided to investigate properly. I pulled up the entire rug, got on my hands and knees, and pressed my ear to the floor. The scratching was louder now, more frantic, and it was definitely coming from beneath the floorboards. My heart pounded against my ribs. I ran my fingers over the wood, feeling for any inconsistency, any sign of tampering. And then I found it. Under where the center of the rug usually lay, one of the floorboards felt different. It was slightly looser than the others. With trembling hands, I pried at it with a screwdriver. It resisted, then gave way with a groan of splintering wood. Beneath it wasn't solid ground, it was darkness. A wave of cold, musty air rushed up, carrying that same smell of damp earth, but stronger now, almost suffocating. I shone my phone's flashlight into the opening. The beam cut through the blackness and revealed a set of rough, hand-carved stone steps leading down into a basement that shouldn't exist. My mind was racing. The blueprints were wrong. The agent had either lied or had no idea. Every rational thought told me to nail that board back down, sell the house and run, but I couldn't. The scratching had stopped. It was replaced by a silence that felt heavier, more expectant. It was as if whatever was down there was waiting for me. I had to know what was in my house. I took a deep breath, grabbed a heavy flashlight, and started down the stone steps into the secret basement that shouldn't exist. The air grew colder with each step. The stone was slick with a strange, unseen moisture. The steps ended on a dirt floor. The beam of my flashlight danced across the darkness, revealing a small, cramped space, no bigger than a walk-in closet. The walls were rough-hewn stone, and the air was thick with the smell of decay. There was nothing here, no furniture, no old boxes, just dirt and stone. I was about to dismiss it as a forgotten root cellar when my light caught something on the far wall. Scratched into the stone were marks, hundreds of them. They were tally marks, grouped in sets of 5. It looked like someone had been down here for a very, very long time, counting the days. My blood ran cold. Who was down here? And why? As I scanned the walls, my light fell upon a small wooden crate tucked into a corner, almost hidden in the shadows. It was old, the wood warped and dark with age. Hesitantly, I approached the crate. It wasn't locked. I lifted the lid, a cloud of dust exploding into the air. Inside, resting on a bed of what looked like dried leaves, was a single object, a small, leather-bound diary. The leather was cracked and faded, and a simple name was embossed on the cover, Eleonora. My hands shook as I picked it up. This had to be the source of the mystery. This had to hold the answers. I took the diary and climbed back out of the darkness, my heart hammering in my chest. I sealed the floorboard, but I knew it was no use. The secret was out, back in the relative safety of my living room. I opened the diary. The first entry was dated 1888. The handwriting was elegant but shaky, telling the story of a young woman named Eleonora who had lived in this very house. She wrote of her love for the house, her family, and the joy she found within its walls. But as I read on, the tone shifted. The entries grew more erratic, more fearful. She wrote of strange noises from below, of a cold that seeped up through the floors. The same things I had experienced. Her family dismissed her fears, calling her hysterical. Then, the final entry. It was a single, terrifying sentence, scrawled across the page with such force that the pen had torn the paper. It read, "They locked me in. The cold is all there is now. I will not be forgotten." A chill, entirely separate. From the house's cold spots, snaked down my spine. Eleonora, she hadn't just lived here. She had been trapped here. The scratching, the cold, the feeling of being watched. It was her trapped in that hidden room, her existence erased from the house's history, her spirit left to haunt the space where she was forgotten. The tally marks weren't counting days. They were counting years, decades, a century of solitude. I haven't slept properly since finding the diary. I can still hear her sometimes, not scratching anymore, but a faint, sorrowful whisper that seems to ride on the drafts of the old house. I don't know what to do. How do you help a spirit that's been trapped for over 100 years? I thought I bought a house, but I inherited a haunting. The secret is out, and now I'm a part of it. I live with the ghost of Eleonora, in the house with the basement that was never supposed to be found. Thank you so much for joining me on this chilling journey. What do you think I should do? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy stories that blur the line between the real and the unexplained, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Stay curious and stay safe.